Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
into the Ishrat Jahan case.
It's a fascinating case.
Yeah, and I think, what's so interesting about it is it really kind of became a flashpoint in Indian society.
Absolutely.
Or debates about national security and religious identity and
Even the justice system,
Yeah.
the core of the justice system.
so we're going to unpack all of that.
Yeah,
But first, I think we need to start by talking about Ishrat Jahan herself.
right?
Who was she? Can you paint a picture of her life for our listeners?
Well, imagine a young woman who was dedicated to her family and her studies,
Mm-hmm.
worked really hard to support her family in Mumbai,
Mm-hmm.
especially after her father passed away.
Right.
She was pursuing a Bachelor of Science degree.
Wow.
She was juggling that with a tuition job,
Oh, wow.
even doing some embroidery work on the side to make ends meet.
It's a really inspiring story.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
this is what makes it so tragic.
Right. And then into the picture comes this man named Javed Sheikh offering what seems like a dream job.
Yeah, a perfume sales position
Yeah.
with a much higher salary.
But it wasn't what it seemed.
No, not at all.
So tell us about Javed Sheikh.
Well, his real name was Pranesh Pillai,
Oh, wow.
and he had quite a shadowy past
Hmm.
linked to smuggling operations.
Oh, really?
And even some suspected ties to Lashkar-e-Taiba,
Oh, wow.
which is a terrorist organization.
So Ishrat leaves with Javed
Yeah.
on what she believes to be just a work trip,
Mm.
calls her mother on June 11, 2004,
Right.
and then vanishes.
Disappears.
4 days later,
Yeah.
the news breaks.
Right.
A police encounter in Gujarat.
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
Well, so picture this. The police claim they had intercepted a blue Indica car.
Okay.
And inside were these Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists
Mhm.
who were on a mission to assassinate the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi.
Wow.
And they claimed they found inside the car
Mhm.
this whole arsenal,
Look.
AK-56s, pistols, explosives, even a satellite phone.
Oh, wow. So they were really selling the story.
Yeah, they were really making it seem airtight,
Right.
saying all 4 occupants were killed in this fierce shootout.
So case closed, right?
Well, not so fast.
Okay.
Because there was already at the time a lot of skepticism
Okay.
surrounding these police encounters in Gujarat.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that Ishrat Jahan, a young Muslim woman,
Yeah.
was caught up in this immediately raised red flags for people.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
And there was a huge media frenzy.
Oh, absolutely. And
That's-
political figures like Awazmi and Vasant Dafkar
Mm-hmm.
demanding a CBI inquiry. And there was massive public outcry.
Yeah.
Thousands of people attended Ishrat's funeral,
Oh, wow.
questioning the police's version of events.
Right. And then to add fuel to this fire,
Yeah,
the Lashkar-e-Taiba's mouthpiece, the
Mm.
Gadwa Times,
right.
actually claimed Ishrat as one of their operatives.
Yeah, initially.
That's right.
Then they retracted the statement
What?
and issued an apology.
What do you make of that?
I mean, it's hard to say for sure,
Yeah.
but it definitely added another layer of complexity to an already confusing situation.
Absolutely. So in the midst of all of this chaos,
Right.
Ishrat's mother,
Yeah.
driven by grief and determination,
Mm-hmm.
files a petition in the High Court
Right.
demanding a CBI inquiry.
Yeah.
And then another twist emerges.
Uh-huh.
Remember the Sohrabuddin Sheikh encounter case?
Yeah.
Involving some of the same police
No,
officers.
some of the same ones.
And the Supreme Court declared that encounter fake.
Fake encounter, yeah.
So now the doubts about the Ishrat Jahan case.
Amplified like tenfold.
Right, it's like
Yeah.
dominoes falling one after another.
Exactly.
And this is where things get really messy.
Yeah.
The case gets entangled in this political battle.
Between the BJP and the Congress, each
Yeah.
accusing the other of, orchestrating these fake encounters and playing politics.
So the stakes were really high.
Yeah, incredibly high.
And it seemed like the truth was getting lost. In the midst of all of this,
Right.
the High Court
Yeah.
recognizes the need for an independent investigation
Right.
and directs the central government, which was under the Congress Party at the time,
At the time.
to submit an affidavit
Yeah.
detailing their findings.
Right.
And this is where things take a really unexpected turn.
Oh, yeah.
So what did the affidavit say?
So they brought in this guy, RVS Matain,
Okay.
who was an undersecretary in the Home Ministry,
Mm-hmm.
to prepare this affidavit under the then Home Minister P. Chidambaram's direction.
Okay.
And to everybody's shock, the affidavit claimed that all 4 individuals killed,
Mm-hmm.
including Ishrat and Javed,
Yeah.
were indeed Lashkar-e-Taiba operatives.
Hold on. So this is a complete 180
Yeah, a complete reversal.
from what we've heard so far.
Right.
What evidence did they base this on?
They pointed to Javed's criminal history, his supposed connections to this terrorist group,
Right.
and even these incriminating items that they said were found at his residence.
But the story doesn't end there.
No, of course not. It's the Ishrat Jahan case.
What happened next?
Well, hold on to your hats, because the Congress government then tries to retract that very affidavit.
Right.
It's mind-boggling.
Why would they submit such a strong statement and then backtrack?
Yeah, it just added another layer of doubt and suspicion to the whole investigation.
So we have the police claiming a legitimate encounter.
Right.
Then there are whispers of a fake encounter. Then this bombshell affidavit.
Yeah.
Followed by this equally shocking retraction.
Yeah, it's enough to make your head spin.
Right. And all this while, another inquiry was running in parallel.
Yeah.
Right. The one mandated by the National Human Rights Commission.
The NHRC.
This one headed by SP Tamang. What did his investigation uncover?
Okay, so his report delivered a significant blow to the police's version of events.
Okay.
He analyzed forensic evidence, highlighted inconsistencies in the police account, pointed out procedural lapses, and his conclusion was the encounter was fake.
Wow. So now we have these two very different narratives emerging.
Yeah.
What specific evidence did Tamang present?
Oh, his report was incredibly detailed. He looked at the bullet trajectory analysis.
Okay.
Noted the lack of gunpowder residue on the victims, and even pointed at the presence of undigested food in their stomachs.
Whoa.
This suggests that they were killed hours after their supposed last meal,
Right.
which directly contradicted the police account of this spontaneous encounter.
That's compelling evidence.
Yeah, it is.
How did the Gujarat government respond to such a damning report?
Well, in a move that many found suspicious, they challenged the validity of Tamang's report.
Oh, wow.
Leading to its eventual dismissal.
So just as things seem to be tilting towards the truth,
Right.
it gets pushed back into the shadows of doubt.
Yeah.
It's almost like someone was trying very hard to keep the real story hidden.
Yeah. You're picking up on a key theme here. This back and forth.
Yeah.
The conflicting narratives.
Yeah.
These apparent attempts to suppress certain findings
Right.
all point to a much bigger story here.
Right.
One that goes beyond a single encounter.
And then just when you think things can't get any more complicated,
Right.
enter David Headley,
Oh, yeah.
the mastermind behind the 26/11 Mumbai attacks
Right.
during his interrogation by the NIA.
The National Investigation Agency.
He drops a bombshell.
He claims, based on information from another Lashkar member, that Ishrat Jahan was indeed a Lashkar-e-Taiba operative.
So back to square one.
Right.
Was she or wasn't she involved with a terrorist organization?
Right.
The NIA then prepares this report.
Yeah, based on Headley's revelations.
But even that gets caught in the crossfire.
It does.
There are allegations that pages mentioning Ishrat's alleged link to Lashkar were deleted under pressure.
Under pressure from the Congress government.
And to top it all off, a letter from the U.S. Embassy confirming Headley's statement about Ishrat is leaked.
Leaked, yeah.
This just adds another layer of confusion and mistrust.
Yeah.
It seems like every piece of evidence is countered by another.
Right.
And the truth just keeps slipping further away.
You're absolutely right. At this point, the case had become so politicized,
Right.
so entangled in these accusations and counter-accusations, that it was almost impossible to discern fact from fiction.
So in a desperate attempt to inject some neutrality into this chaotic investigation, they decide to form a special investigation team.
An SIT.
Tell us more about that.
So the idea was to have this team that wouldn't be swayed by any single party.
Okay.
It was comprised of officers recommended by the central government, the Gujarat government, and crucially, Ishrat Jahan's mother.
Yeah.
It was an attempt to create this truly balanced investigative force.
So a noble goal. But did it work out that way in practice?
Well, even getting the SIT up and running proved to be a challenge.
I can imagine the pressure cooker these officers were stepping into.
Many were reluctant to lead the team because of the immense political weight that the case carried.
Yeah, it speaks volumes.
Right.
About how deeply politicized this case had become.
Yeah, nobody wanted to be caught in the crossfire.
Right. Eventually, R.R. Verma agreed to take charge.
Yeah.
But even that wasn't without controversy.
No allegations of a quid pro quo deal with the Congress government surface?
So even with the SIT, the cloud of suspicion and political maneuvering never really lifted.
Yeah, it's a frustrating pattern we see throughout this entire case.
Yeah.
Every attempt to get to the bottom of it
Right.
seems to be thwarted by conflicting interests,
Hmm.
hidden agendas, and a lack of transparency.
A classic example of how the pursuit of justice
Yeah.
can become incredibly convoluted when powerful forces are at play.
Exactly. And just when you thought we reached peak complexity, the case takes another dramatic turn in 2011.
Okay.
It's finally handed over to the CBI.
Okay, the Central Bureau of Investigation.
Right.
Amidst heavy opposition from the BJP. Hold on. Why would the BJP, who had been demanding a thorough investigation all this time, oppose the CBI getting involved?
Well, that's where the political chess game comes back into play.
Okay.
The BJP was wary of the CBI, which was under the control of the Congress-led central government at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They feared that the investigation would be biased against them.
So even the agency tasked with uncovering the truth became a pawn in this political battle.
It just shows how deeply ingrained the case had become in the power dynamics of Indian politics.
It really does.
Yeah.
The Ishrat Jahan encounter case became a symbol of this deep mistrust between these two major political parties,
the
BJP and Congress.
BJP and the Congress.
And on that note of political intrigue, we're going to take a break. Stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive, where we'll delve into the CBI's investigation and the explosive findings that sent shockwaves through the nation.
Oh, yeah. It's a wild ride.
This is a wild case.
A wild ride.
We'll be right back.
Stay with us. Welcome back to our deep dive into the Ishrat Jahan encounter case.
So the CBI now had this incredibly complex case on their hands.
Right. A mountain of conflicting testimonies, potential political interference, the weight of public scrutiny.
Right. So what did their investigation uncover?
Well, their findings were pretty explosive after this really painstaking investigation. The CBI concluded that the encounter was staged.
Okay.
Ishrat Jahan and the 3 others were not killed in a shootout with terrorists. They were murdered in cold blood.
Wow. This wasn't just police brutality.
No.
This was a meticulously planned operation.
A conspiracy that seemingly went all the way to the top.
So tell us more about what the CBI uncovered.
Well, they dug deep. They used phone records, witness statements, forensic evidence to piece together this chilling narrative, a trail of deception that started months before the encounter.
Okay.
It all began in February 2004 when the Jammu and Kashmir police killed this Let-T operative named Ihsan Ilay.
So this is months before the encounter with Ishrat Jahan.
Yeah, months before.
What does this have to do with the case?
Well, they found this letter on Ihsan Ilay's body.
Okay.
And it contained some pretty startling information.
Like what?
It talked about a plot to avenge the Babri Masjid demolition.
Okay.
And the 2002 Gujarat riots.
Oh.
The targets, none other than the then Chief Minister Narendra Modi and senior BJP leader LK Advani.
That's a huge revelation.
It is.
And this letter was found months before the encounter with Ishrat Jahan.
Exactly. The letter suggested that the plan was to attack Modi and Advani during Advani's planned Jagannath Rath Yatra if the BJP won the 2004 general elections.
So the Intelligence Bureau took this threat very seriously.
Very seriously.
Started investigating potential leads.
Right.
How does Javed Sheikh, the man Ishrat Jahan was with, fit into all of this?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Okay.
The CBI discovered that Javed, whose real name was Pranish Pillai, had a much deeper connection to Let-T than initially thought.
Okay.
They found evidence that he had traveled to Oman in March 2004.
Oman?
Yeah. That seems random.
Using a fake passport.
What was he doing there?
He wasn't just on vacation.
Okay.
He was meeting with a high-ranking Let-T handler named Muzammil Butt.
Okay.
The purpose to receive instructions on how to carry out this plot to assassinate Modi and Advani.
So the seemingly insignificant encounter in Gujarat was actually connected to a much larger, more sinister plan.
Precisely. Muzammil gave Javed crucial information about sleeper cells in India, a satellite phone for secure communication, even cache and code words to be used while discussing the plan over the phone.
Sounds like they were trying to be very careful, very secretive.
Absolutely.
Right.
But the IB, already on high alert thanks to that letter found on Ihsan Ilay, was one step ahead.
Okay.
They had bugged this flat in Ahmedabad, where they believed Javed and his associates would be staying. So they were listening in on their every conversation.
On their every conversation, it's like something out of a spy movie.
Right.
And it gets even more intense.
Okay.
The IB also knew that Leti was planning to send 13 more terrorists into India.
Oh, wow.
To help Javed with his mission.
Okay.
One of them was Zishan Johar,
Mm-hmm.
who would later be killed alongside Ishrat Jahan.
Okay.
It was becoming clear that this major terrorist attack was in the works, and the IB was racing against time to stop it.
So we have this high-stakes plot unfolding. The IB is listening in.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
Well, twist.
Okay.
The BJP unexpectedly loses the 2004 general elections, throwing Leti's initial plan to target Modi and Advani during that Rath Yatra out the window.
Well, that changes things.
It does. What did Javed do?
Yeah, what did he do?
He didn't give up.
Okay.
In a coded phone call to Muzammil, he informed him about the election results and proposed this new plan. Target Modi in Gujarat itself. Oh, wow.
Muzammil agreed.
Okay.
And List's focus shifted to assassinating Modi within his own state.
Wow. So the stakes just got even higher.
They did.
What did they do next?
Well, Javed needed a car for his new plan.
Okay.
He purchased a blue Indica in May 2004 with the help of his friend Asif Iqbal.
Okay.
You might recognize that car.
The same one that was later found?
The same one.
At the encounter site.
Exactly. Javed then started doing reconnaissance of Modi's residences. His offices in Ahmedabad and Gandhinagar, the routes he frequently used.
Wow.
He was gathering intel preparing for this attack.
And all the while, the IB is listening in, tracking his every move.
They were piecing together this puzzle, trying to figure out when and where Javed might strike.
Okay.
In May 2004, Javed, under the pretense of taking Ishrat Jahan to Ahmedabad for work, checked into the Hotel Raj Palace.
Okay.
They posed as a married couple, using fake names to avoid detection. So Ishrat Jahan was unwittingly caught.
Yeah, seems that way.
In the middle of this dangerous plot.
Right. The IB, meanwhile, was closing in.
Okay.
They had gathered enough information about Javed Ishrat and another man named Amjad Ali, who would also be killed in the encounter to take action.
What did they do?
Well, they decided to apprehend Amjad first. They believed he was carrying this satellite phone and other valuable evidence. So this team, led by Gujarat police officers N.K. Amin and Tarun Bharat, caught up with Amjad near Goda Circle in Ahmedabad and seized his briefcase, which contained the satellite phone cache and other incriminating items.
So sounds like a textbook arrest case closed, right?
Not quite. Instead of taking Amjad to the police station and officially recording his arrest, they took him to this safe house, a bungalow, on a farm near Koba Circle in Ahmedabad. This safe house belonged to a man named Rajendra Kumar, who had these close ties to the police.
Wait, a secret safe house?
Yeah.
How the secrecy?
That's a key question.
Yeah.
The CBI later found out that Rajendra Kumar had received favors from the police in the past and had agreed to let them use his bungalow for these off-the-record operations like this. So Amjad's detention was never officially documented.
Wow. Completely off the books.
Completely off the books.
So we have one suspect being held in a secret location. What happened next?
Well, Javed, unaware that Amjad had been captured, was lured back to Ahmedabad from his native place in Kerala by this phone call.
Oh, wow.
The call was made from a public phone booth in Gandhinagar by someone working for the Gujarat police. They pretended to have this business proposition for Javed.
Oh, wow.
Enticing him back into their trap.
It's like they were setting the stage for something.
Right.
What happened when Javed returned to Ahmedabad?
Okay, so as soon as Javed left Kerala, the IB held this urgent meeting.
At their surveillance flat in Ahmedabad. They knew Javed and Ishrat were heading back. And this was their chance to apprehend them.
So they were waiting for them.
They were waiting for them what happened next.
Yeah.
So N.K. Amin, one of the officers involved in Amjad's capture, was tasked with intercepting Javed and Ishrat. He and his team set up this ambush at the Vasad toll plaza on National Highway 8.
So they were lying in... Wait, this whole thing feels very premeditated.
You're picking up on something important.
Yeah.
The CBI's investigation revealed this pattern of deliberate actions. That strongly suggested this was not a random encounter. This was planned.
Okay, so Javed and Ishrat are driving towards Ahmedabad, completely unaware that they're driving into a trap. What happens at the toll plaza?
Well, Javed and Ishrat, driving their blue Indica, arrived at the toll plaza around midday on June 10, 2004. Amin and his team, dressed in plain clothes,
moved in swiftly overpowered Javed and Ishrat at gunpoint.
Wow.
They were then driven towards Ahmedabad.
Right.
But instead of being taken to a police station, they were taken to yet another safe house.
Another one. How many secret locations are we talking about?
So this one was called the Kodiar farmhouse.
Okay.
Located on the SG highway in Ahmedabad. It belonged to this businessman named Prabhat Pai, who, like Rajendra Kumar, had these close ties to the Gujarat police.
It seems like they had a network of people willing to help them.
Yeah.
With these off-the-record operations.
Exactly. The CBI later discovered that Prabhat Pai had received favors from a senior police officer named Kalupai Desai in a previous case, and was now returning the favor.
Right.
The farmhouse was completely secured.
Wow.
Workers and gardeners were sent away.
Okay.
Javed and Ishrat were now in police custody, held illegally with no official record of their detention.
So they're holding two people illegally.
Right.
And the third suspect, Amjad, is already in another secret location.
Right.
What happened next?
Well, the final piece of the puzzle fell into place. On June 13th, 2004, when the last member of the group, Zishan Johar, was apprehended by the police and brought to the Kodiar farmhouse.
So all four individuals, Javed, Ishrat, Amjad, and Zishan, were now in police custody being held captive at these two different secret locations. The stage was set for the encounter that would claim their lives and spark a nationwide controversy.
A nationwide controversy.
What did the CBI discover about the planning of this so-called encounter?
Well, this is where it gets really disturbing.
Okay.
The CBI discovered that on the same day, all four were apprehended.
Okay.
This group of police officers met to plan the staged encounter.
They were writing the report about the encounter before it even happened.
That's what the evidence suggests.
Wow.
This meeting took place at the bungalow of DGvanzara, a senior police officer who would later become a key figure in this whole case. During the meeting, Rajendra Kumar, the IB officer who had been monitoring Zishan Johar's communications, advised Vanzara to inform the chief minister about the plan.
So they were thinking about going over the heads of their superiors.
It seems so.
Wow.
But Vanzara's response is even more chilling.
Okay, what did he say?
He reportedly said, "It's okay, I will talk to the Whitebeard and the Blackbeard."
Whitebeard and Blackbeard.
Yeah, it sounds like code for some very powerful individuals.
Right.
The CBI also uncovered this draft of the complaint that was prepared during that meeting. It outlined how the encounter would be portrayed.
Wow.
How many rounds would be fired. And other specific details.
This wasn't just a casual discussion.
No, they were creating a script for a staged killing.
This is getting darker by the minute. What happened next?
On the night of June 14, 2004, Zishan, Javed, and Ishrat were taken from the Kodiar farmhouse, their hands tied, guns planted on them.
Right, to make it look like...
To make them look like armed terrorists and forced into that blue Indica. They were driven to this spot near the Kotapur Waterworks on Airport Road in Ahmedabad, where the final act of this macabre play would unfold.
It sounds like they were meticulously setting the stage.
Yeah.
For a fake encounter, making sure everything looked just right.
Exactly. And there's one more chilling detail that emerged from the CBI's investigation. One of the officers involved, Mohan Nanji, refused to fire his weapon.
You refused?
Yeah, when ordered to.
Wow.
He reportedly said he had been told he wouldn't have to shoot.
Oh, wow.
And had only been asked to be present.
So he knew it was a setup, a staged encounter.
It seems so.
Wow.
The CBI later revealed that Nanji was verbally abused.
Oh, wow.
And ridiculed by the other officers for his refusal. They accused him of coming to the scene just to do a mujra, which is a dance performance, instead of doing his duty.
Wow.
It's a telling detail that highlights the pressure and coercion involved in this operation.
So despite Nanji's refusal, they went ahead with the plan.
The police fired this volley of shots at the Blue Indica, killing all 4 occupants.
Oh, wow.
The CBI concluded that the pistols and other items found on the victims were planted after their deaths.
Oh, wow.
Further solidifying the evidence of a staged encounter.
Right.
This wasn't a spontaneous shootout.
Right.
It was cold-blooded murder orchestrated and executed with chilling precision.
The CBI's findings were a damning indictment of the Gujarat police.
They were.
What happened after they filed their charge sheet?
Well, that's the story for the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, stay tuned to find out what happened to the officers involved and the lasting impact this case has had on India. Welcome back to our deep dive into the Ishrat Jahan encounter case. We left off with the CBI's investigation revealing this meticulously planned encounter.
Yeah, staged encounter.
And a possible conspiracy going way beyond just a few rogue police officers.
Yeah, going pretty high up, it seemed like.
So the CBI's findings really sent shockwaves through India.
Absolutely.
Exposing this dark underbelly of the police force.
Yeah.
And raising serious questions about the rule of law in India.
Yeah, about accountability.
Right.
Who's watching the watchers?
So where do things go from here?
Well, that's the thing.
The CBI has presented its findings, right?
Right.
Exposed the truth behind the encounter.
Yeah.
Charged several high-ranking police officers with murder. What happened next?
Well, this is where the case takes another turn.
Okay.
It really highlights the complexities of the Indian legal system and the influence of politics on the pursuit of justice. So remember, according to Indian law, if a government official is accused of a crime that they committed while on duty, permission for prosecution has to be granted by either the state or the central government.
Okay.
And this is outlined in Section 197 of the Criminal Procedure Code.
The CRPC.
CRPC.
Okay, so there's this extra layer of legal protection for government officials.
Right, for government officials.
How did this play out in the Ishrat Jahan case?
Well, in 2014, the BJP,
the
very party that had vehemently opposed the CBI investigation.
Right, and questioned its credibility.
Right, questioned its credibility.
Came into power.
Came into power at the center.
I think I can see where this is going.
Yeah.
So
the BJP government refused to grant permission for the prosecution of the accused police officers.
So despite the damning evidence presented by the CBI, the officers responsible for the staged encounter were effectively shielded from facing the full force of the law.
Essentially, yes. And this move sparked a huge controversy. I can imagine. A lot of people saw it as this blatant attempt to protect those involved in the encounter.
Right.
Especially given the BJP's previous stance on the case.
Right.
It raised serious questions about the government's commitment to justice.
Yeah.
And its potential influence over the legal process.
Right. So this feels like a major setback.
It was.
For Ishrat Jahan's family.
Absolutely.
Who had fought so hard to bring those responsible to justice.
Yeah.
What happened to the officers who were already under arrest?
Well, without the government's sanction to prosecute, the courts had no choice but to release them.
So they just walked free despite being accused of murder.
It's a bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Especially for Ishrat Jahan's mother, who had, tirelessly fought for her daughter's justice all these years.
Right.
She even expressed her exhaustion with the seemingly endless legal battles, stating that she could no longer bear the emotional and mental toll of the court proceedings.
It's heartbreaking.
It is.
It's a heartbreaking end to a story that's been filled with so much tragedy and injustice. But even with the legal case seemingly closed, there's one question that lingers. Was Ishrat Jahan actually involved with Lashkar-e-Taiba?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
We have the initial claim from the Libya math piece, right? Then there's sudden retraction.
Yeah.
These conflicting narratives from the police and intelligence agencies, even David Headley's statement claiming she was an operative.
Yeah, it seems like the truth is lost somewhere.
Right.
In this maze of political maneuvering and conflicting evidence.
It may never be known for sure.
It's frustrating and unsettling.
It is.
That we may never know.
Right.
The Ishrat Jahan encounter case really leaves us with more questions than answers.
It does.
It exposes the dark side of power dynamics.
Yeah.
The manipulation of evidence. And the immense challenges in holding those in authority accountable in India.
Absolutely. This case forces us to confront some uncomfortable truths about our justice system and that delicate balance between national security and individual rights.
So what can we as citizens learn from this case? What does it tell us about the India we live in today?
I think it reminds us that the pursuit of justice can be long and arduous and sometimes heartbreakingly incomplete.
Right.
It highlights the importance of a vigilant citizenry, a free press, and a robust legal system that holds everyone accountable regardless of their position or power.
Yeah. The Ishrat Jahan encounter case isn't just a closed chapter in history.
No.
It serves as a stark reminder of these ongoing challenges that we face as a society.
Right.
And the importance of constantly striving for a more just and equitable world.
Absolutely.
It encourages us to think critically, to question narratives, and to demand transparency and accountability from those in power.
Those in power?
Only through active engagement and a commitment to truth and justice can we hope to prevent such tragedies from happening again.
I agree.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Ishrat Jahan encounter case.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
We hope this has shed some light on this complex and controversial case.
Absolutely.
And encourage you to continue exploring the larger questions it raises about justice, accountability, and the pursuit of truth in India.
I think those are questions that we should all be thinking about.
Thanks for listening.